to save a wretch like you and me. Yes, he did. So, before Jesus came to earth, death was huge. The debt of sin was huge. And we were considered unclean in God's eyes.
Now, I've heard of sin, and I heard of a lot of people that do a lot of sin. I mean, that's a huge debt to pay off. How could someone just get rid of that?
It sure is a huge debt. God really loves his people so much. And he wants a relationship that was severed to be restored. And the only way that this can be done is if there was the ultimate living sacrifice.
Well, how did Jesus do that? It sounds like you have to die, and I know God wouldn't allow his only son to die.
Don't give it in there. That's my fault. Let's start with it again. When Jesus was on earth, he traveled near and far, speaking of God's good news. He spoke about God's love and how to obey his commandments, how to love one another on earth. He said a mighty, mighty word. Hundreds and thousands of people will come from near and far just to hear him speak and to see these miracles that he will perform. And he was amazing miracles, I'll tell you. But after all, he was the Messiah. And you know what they said? The Messiah in me, but the Messiah in me.
Okay, back to the point. Well, what kind of miracles did he do?
Let's see. If I had to think of one, I would talk about Jairus and his sick daughter.
I heard Jesus is healing Molly. Surely he can heal my sick daughter. Then one day, I saw him in the midst of a crowd. And I literally fell at his feet and pleaded with him to come see my daughter. And he agreed. But on our way to our home, we were stopped by some commotion in the crowd.
Some of you may have heard my story. I had been suffering from a blood disease for 12 long years. I went from doctor to doctor. I spent everything I had. I became an outcast among my friends and my family, considered unclean and unwanted. I heard of Jesus and his healing power. He was walking right past me, but the crowd was huge. I tried to get through. I really tried. I just was not able to actually get close enough to actually talk to him or tell him my issue. But if I could touch the hem of his garment, I knew with just one touch that I would be made whole. So I reached, and I reached, and guess what, y'all? I got it.
Who touched my robe?
How did he even know? I mean, I only touched his robe. I didn't grab him or pull him down. I didn't even stop the flow of the crowd. I mean, he was in a huge crowd. How could he possibly tell the difference between someone touching him and my longing to be made whole? I looked up, and he was in front of me. I fell to his feet, and he said to me,
Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Your suffering is now over.
and just like that, I was healed. He said, my faith has made me well. All it takes is faith and works. Try it sometime.
I witnessed a miracle. Before my eyes, Jesus performed another miracle. But is there another miracle with us for me and my daughter? I wonder. As we neared our home, messengers came and they told me, your daughter is dead. My daughter is dead. My heart felt like it was about to stop. But Jesus overheard them and he said to me,
Don't be afraid. Just have faith.
So, Jesus took my wife, myself, and disciples to where my daughter was lying. And he reached down and grabbed her hand. And he said to her,
"Little girl, get up."
and she did. She woke and got up. Jesus had brought my daughter back to life. The people in my village, they all laughed at him. They thought he could not do the impossible. But Jesus did. He did the impossible. He's such awesome. He's an awesome God.
Wow, Jesus is amazing.
I mean, he is the Son of God.
Those miracles were great and all, but how did they restore the relationship between God and his people? They weren't really a sacrifice.
See, that's just it. Jesus was the sacrifice. Jesus is the mediator that Job had been pleading for. You see, God chose to send his only son to earth so that he could die to save us all, just to show his love. So, on a Friday evening, Jesus was condemned to death and crucified.
Jesus crucified? I mean, how could all those people do that? How could they just turn their back on him? He did all those good things. And where was God at? He just allowed his son to die like that?
See, but isn't that just like life sometimes? Sometimes the ones that you do the most for are the ones that can orchestrate your demise. But don't you fret, because God has something bigger and better in store for you. But I digress. You see, Jesus, his death was all a part of God's plan. The ultimate sacrifice was made. See, when Jesus died, he took the punishment of sin with him. And this is where salvation comes in. See, before Jesus' death, death was the end of the story. But after Jesus' death, the blood that he shed for us covers every sin that we have. And we're now clean in the sight of God. It's as if he took all of our sins while he was up there on that cross. He took the lying, the lust, the jealousy, lying, hatred, worshiping of idol gods. It's as if he took all those sins and he covered